They didn't want him. They never planned for him. And yet, here he is, making headlines, taking reps, and stealing the spotlight. When the Cleveland Browns selected Shadure Sanders, it wasn't part of some carefully crafted strategy. It wasn't a bold, calculated move by the front office. It was chaos. The owner himself, Jimmy Haslam, admitted he was blindsided, said it wasn't his decision, said it wouldn't have happened if it were up to him. And that should have been the end of it. Just another mid-round quarterback lost in the shuffle, buried on a depth chart, waiting for his name to be forgotten. But that's not what happened. 6 days into training camp, the rookie nobody planned for is suddenly the only one anyone's talking about. He's showing up early, he's protecting the football, he's winning over the fans, the locker room, and even the reporters who've watched this team cycle through quarterbacks for years. The Browns didn't want Shadure Sanders, but now they might. A choice, because when your QB room is breaking down from the inside, the guy who wasn't supposed to be there might be the only one holding it together. Shadure Sanders wasn't on the Browns draft board. Not seriously anyway. Not according to the man who owns the team. Jimmy Haslam made that clear in front of cameras, reporters, and anyone who would listen. If someone had told him a week before the draft that Cleveland would call Shadure's name on Friday night, his answer would have been simple. That's not happening. But then it did happen. Shadure Sanders, wearing orange and brown, walking into a locker room that never expected to see him. The pick came from General Manager Andrew Berry, not the owner, not the coaches, just Berry. And even that decision came after closed-door conversations and a lot of internal disagreement. This wasn't a team unified around a rising star. It was a front office torn between politics and potential. And Shadure? He walked right into the of it. No welcome parade, no clear vision, no guarantees. Instead of stepping into an organization ready to invest in him, he stepped into a building already split over whether he should even be there. But here's the thing, that uncertainty, that doubt, it didn't break him. It built him. Because while the top of the organization hesitated, Shedeur got to work, like someone who knew he had to change minds before he ever threw a pass. If you followed the Browns over the last decade, one thing is painfully clear. Stability at quarterback doesn't exist in Cleveland. It's been a non-stop carousel, draft picks that never panned out, veterans brought in too late, and front office moves that made more noise than progress. Quarterback isn't just a position here, it's a controversy on repeat. And right in the middle of that dysfunction, Shadure Sanders. He didn't walk into a system, he walked into a storm. A QB room packed with uncertainty, uneven support, and guys already jockeying position. Kenny Pickett, the presumed frontrunner, is battling a hamstring injury. Dillon Gabriel is trying to prove he belongs. And Joe Flacco, he's just trying to hold on. Now add to that a fractured leadership structure, a GM who went rogue on draft night, an owner publicly distancing himself from the pick, coaches caught somewhere in the middle. That's the environment Shedeur walked into. No plan, no clarity, no guarantees. For most rookies, that kind of chaos would derail everything. It creates pressure, uncertainty, and doubt before you even step on the field. But for Shadure Sanders, it became fuel. While the rest of the building scrambled to figure out what just happened, he locked in. Not with headlines, not with hype, but with something the Browns haven't seen in a long time. Consistency. Day 6 of training camp. Before the coaches showed up, before the cameras rolled, before the media got in position, Shadure Sanders was already there. 40 minutes entourage. No interviews, no social media moment, just turf under his cleats and a quarterback locked in. In a league where image often screams louder than performance, Shedeur let his silence speak volumes. He wasn't there to be noticed. He was there to prove something. And that small detail, the early arrival, the quiet preparation, didn't go unnoticed. Not in a city starved for discipline. Not in a locker room where effort speaks louder than titles. Not among veterans who can spot real focus from a mile away. That morning wasn't just about getting reps. It was about setting a tone. While others were going through the motions, Shedeur was building momentum, quietly, relentlessly, because in a place like Cleveland, where drama is routine and expectations always crash into reality, it's rare to see a rookie walk in with that kind of poise. He wasn't handed anything, but every morning he showed up early. Every throw he made, without fanfare, moved him one step closer to. His team desperately needs a quarterback who doesn't talk like a leader, but moves like one. While Shadure Sanders was earning quiet respect with every clean rep, the rest of the quarterback room was cracking under pressure. Dillon Gabriel got his shot, a critical 2-minute drill, the kind of high-stakes scenario that separates backup potential from starting reality. And with the red zone in sight and the clock winding down, he made the one mistake that screams louder than anything in camp. He forced it. A rushed read, a bad decision, a brutal interception. And just like that, a drive meant to build trust became a flashing red warning sign. It wasn't just a turnover. It was a moment that raised a much bigger question. Can Gabriel stay composed when it matters most? Meanwhile, Shedeur didn't need to light up the field to make his point. He played it smart, simple reads, safe throws, ball security. While others chased big plays to impress the coaching staff, he focused. One thing NFL teams value above all: don't lose the game. In 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills, Shedeur wasn't loud, but he was solid. No risky throws, no frustration, just calm, confident execution. And in a position battle this tight, those details start stacking fast. Because when you're competing for a future, the guy who protects the football always outlasts the one who gives it away. There's something you can't fake in football: energy. And when Shadure Sanders takes the field, something shifts. It's not about stats. It's not about status. It's presence. During one of his reps, a young fan standing on the sideline lit up, face wide-eyed, locked in, like he was watching something special. He didn't know the play call. He didn't care about the depth chart. All he saw was a quarterback with confidence and control. And that moment said everything. Because while highlight reels are cool and hype videos get clicks, real connection happens when people feel something. Shedeur is making people feel it. It's not just kids. Reporters who've watched Browns camp for years are shifting their tone. Guys like Zach Jackson and Fred Greetham, who've seen dozens of QBs come and go, keep circling back to one name: Shadure Sanders. Why? Because he's showing up without the spotlight and still managing to steal it. In a league where rookies usually keep their heads down and wait their turn, Shedeur's doing the opposite. He's not demanding attention. He's earning it, quietly, consistently. And that doesn't just impress fans. It turns heads inside the locker room. Veterans take notice, coaches talk, and trust starts to build. Not from what you say, but from what you do. He's not QB1 yet, but he's moving like one. There's something strange happening in Cleveland, and it has nothing to do with on-field performance. It's the politics behind the pick. The Browns didn't just accidentally draft Shadure Sanders. The decision came straight from general manager Barry and not from the top. In fact, owner Jimmy Haslam publicly distanced himself from it, saying he was shocked, even suggesting it wouldn't have happened if the call had been his. That's not just a disagreement, that's a red flag. Because when your owner is airing internal decisions to the media, it's not just about football anymore. It's about power, control, and a front office that might not be on the same page. That kind of fracture affects everything. The culture, the coaching decisions, the depth chart, even the reps a rookie gets in camp. And Shedeur? He didn't just walk into a quarterback competition. He walked into a power struggle. One side of the building believes in him enough to roll the dice on draft night. The other side won't even claim the decision. And that puts a rookie in a brutal position, trying to prove himself, not just on the field, but through layers of internal politics he didn't ask for. For most young quarterbacks, that kind of mess is a career kill. But Shedeur? He's not flinching. He's just getting started. Opportunity doesn't always knock. sometimes it limps. Kenny Pickett, the presumed starter, is dealing with a hamstring issue. And in the NFL, soft tissue injuries are tricky. One wrong step, and you're sidelined longer than expected. That's opened the door. Dillon Gabriel got his chance, but that red zone interception wasn't just a bad throw, it was a momentum killer. In a tight quarterback battle, mistakes like that don't go unnoticed. Joe Flacco, the veteran voice in the room, sure, but his reps have been described as fine. And in a league this competitive, fine doesn't win jobs. Meanwhile, Shadure Sanders is healthy, focused, ball security on point, leadership building by the day. He's not being handed anything, but with the others slipping, he doesn't have to be. All he has to do is stay steady, and the job might fall right into his hands. Shadure Sanders isn't chasing headlines, he's earning trust, which, press for highlight plays, Shedeur stays locked in on execution. No risky throws, no forced drama, just clean reps and quiet command. That's not flashy, but it's exactly what NFL coaches want. In pressure drills, he doesn't panic. When the defense tightens, he doesn't gamble. He protects the football, controls the clock, and keeps drives alive. That's the difference between a raw rookie and a quarterback who gets it. He's not out here trying to prove he belongs. He's moving like someone who already knows he does. And when teammates, reporters, and even coaches start paying attention without being told to, that's not luck. That's presence. He wasn't supposed to be QB1, but now he's starting to look like the only real option left.